שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים. שבת אחים גם, I knew I want to get up and dance. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים. שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב. יאללה לי, לה 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 לה. הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב. יאללה לי, לה 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 לה. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים. שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים. שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים. יאללה לי 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 לה 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 לה. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים. שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים. שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים. שבת אחים גם יחד. And you know what? It is still Shabbat on this beautiful afternoon, so let's sing about how happy we are that it's Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom. One more time. Bim, bam, bim, 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 bam. Bim, 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 bam. Ay-dee, day-dee, day-dee, bim. Bam, bim, 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 bam. Bim, 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 bam. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. So nice to share with those of you who are here in our sanctuary, Temple Aliyah on Woodland Hills, and those of you who are home and watching this the Parental Mitzvah of Ava and Ellie Tzour. We are just so excited. One of them is really nervous, one not as much, but we'll figure out who it is later. And just really such a pleasure. The Shabbat afternoon, Saturday afternoon, is a time in which we take out the Torah every week and we read from it, as we do in the morning, and we do Monday and Thursdays as well by Jewish tradition. And it's that service, by the way, sometimes people call it a Havdalah, bar, bat mitzvah, but it's really not Havdalah. That's the one you know, with the candle and wine, everything at the very end. This is Mincha, the afternoon service, and Ellie and David, just because, you know, you're special, just to have your benediction mitzvah together, but it's because we're taking out that special Torah that you actually get to have and celebrate today. And we're just thrilled, again, to be able to be together in the midst of this, Delta surge, and we just want to make sure that everybody is safe and we stay healthy and that we can have this wonderful Shabbat experience. I know we've been waiting a while for this, since at least February, probably a year and a half at least, thinking about this. So we're going to be following in the red book, the smaller of the red books. Those of you can have it in front of you. The larger red book is the Torah reading text you'll be able to find. That we'll follow that later. But we're going to have Ellie and Ava, you're going to come up right now. And those of you at home, if you happen to online, you could have, you can upload or download rather this prayer book, the Lev Shalem for Shabbat and festivals. Girls, you're going to come up. Come on, please. For Ashrei, so page 214. By the way, it's in transliteration as well on the red, on the opposite side, on the bottom there. They're going to be leading us in Ashrei, and we're going to respond in this responsive prayer. All right, it's page 214.
Ashrei Yoshvei Veitecha Od Yahalelu Hasela
Ashrei shekach lo, Ashrei ha'am sh'Adonai elav.
Tehillah leDavid, Adon mimcha Elochaycha melech, vavacham shimcha leolam va'ed.
B'chol yom avarcheka, v'halala shimcha leolam va'ed.
Gedol Adonai umhula me'od, veli grurato ein cheker.
Dor ledor shabach ma'asecha, u'gvurotecha yagidu.
Hadar kevod chodecha, v'divrei nefleotecha asicha.
Ve'zuzrotecha yom beru, u'glata asaprena.
Zecher rav tuvecha yabi'u, v'sidkatecha yeranenu.
Chanun brachum Adonai, erech apayim u'gadol chesed.
Tov Adonai lakoh, v'rachamav al kol ma'asav.
Yoduchanai kol ma'asecha, v'chasidecha yevarchucha.
Kedvod mahutaha yomeru, ugvu rataha yajag beru.
Lehodili pe'adabrotaha, v'kol hadar malchuto.
Mahutaha mahu kol amim, umem shaltaha behodor vador.
Somech Adonai l'chol noflehim, v'zokef l'chol hakfufim.
Einei hol alesa yasa beru, va'ata noten lehem et olam be'ito.
Poteach et yadecha, u'matzvi l'chocha ha'ratzon.
Sadik Adonai beholder ahav, v'chasid beha ma'asav.
Karov Adonai l'chol korav, l'chol asher yerhu ve'emet.
Ratzom yeriva ya'aseh, ve'et shalmotam yishma ve'yoshiem.
Shomer Adonai kol ha'avav, v'yet kol ha'shayim yashmin.
Tehilat Adonai yadaver pi, v'yivarech basar shim kocho, le'elam va'et. Va'anachnu nevarech ya, me'ata ve'ad olam, hallelujah.
All right, girls, you can go down to back to your seats. Page 217, the Chatzi Kaddish.
Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah. Ve'omad yifrach irutei ve'amlich malchutei. B'chayechon u'yomechon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael. Ba'agala, ba'agala, u'bizman karim v'imru, amen. Yehi Rabam b'morach, le'alam le'almei olmaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach, v'yitbar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yithaleh v'yithalal. Shevei dekudasha b'richu le'ela min kol brechata v'shirata. Tushmechata v'nechemata la'amiran ve'alma v'meru. Amen.
Page 218, you'll find the Torah service as we anticipate taking out the Torah. Spencer and Jonathan, Sarah, Maya, and Ari Proman, you're going to join us up on the bima to open up the ark at this time. Come on forward. You'll keep your masks on, please. Come on up. And we're going to rise together. Place page 218, please.
ואני תפילתי לך אדוני את רצון אלוהים ברוב חסדך ענני באמת אישך. ויהי בנשוא אהרון ויאמר משה קומה אדוני ויפוצו אויביך וינוסו משנאיך מפניך כי בציון תצא תורה כי בציון תצא תורה ודבר Yerushalayim, Baruch Shenatan Torah, Torah, Baruch Shenatan Torah, Torah, Le'amo Yisrael, B'kedushato, Gadlu Adonai iti, Uneromema Shemo Yachdav. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'ishtachavu lehar kosho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'ishtachavu lehar kosho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'ishtachavu lehar kosho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'ishtachavu lehar kosho.
You may be seated. That prayer book we've been using just very briefly, you can actually put it away for a moment. We won't be needing it for the next about 20 minutes or so. And those of you who are at home, by the way, we're going to be turning to the Torah service as well. So if you want to follow, you can in the larger of the red books. That's the Chumash, where we follow the Torah reading. It's on page 1112. That's 1112. And those of you, if you're at home, it's Deuteronomy chapter 21, verse 10. So if you're at home, you can follow. It's a great thing about reading from the Torah. You can pull up any Bible from the shelves, and you can follow along in the Torah reading. If you don't know, this Torah reading of Ki Tetzei, the girls are going to speak about it in a little bit. These are the words of Moses being recited to the Israelites just as they're about to enter the land, and he's going to pass away in days. Like literally in terms of this, the final laws that he's giving them. And interesting that what he talks about here, and Ava and Ellie are going to talk about this, are about kindness towards animals. A lot about laws about how we treat the animals is going to be so important. And it ties in the way they talk about how you treat people when you go to war, right? Lior, you know that in Israel they have this idea of neshek tahor, right? About trying to be as ethical as you can in warfare. It's very hard to be ethical in warfare, isn't it? It's very hard. Once you start fighting and once you get into the battles, like you may have the highest values, but when you're under fire, oof. That's why there's so many, if you will, violations of, in terms of just violence towards others, unnecessary, if you will, attacks, even in terms of inappropriate, so many things that can happen in warfare, and the Torah knows that. And so the Torah is warning people. So when you go out to war, by the way, you can't violate women, other people. That's not part of warfare. That's not how you conquer. That's not how you engage. And they talk about not destroying, by the way, food sources like living trees, because you're going to, in the end, you're not going to be able to sustain life in general. If you have family, by the way, and let's say you just got married, you haven't yet gone home and consummated that relationship and had time, you actually don't go out to war yet. Like you have to wait. Like your heart, you need to be able to live life and then to be able to go out and to engage with conviction, but yet with a sense of ethics. I think it's amazing, right? Isn't it that the Bible talks about all these values? Even a Bible that seems so, bloodthirsty sometimes, and there's lots of warfare and lots of things happen, but yet, say, you know what? That's the way of the world in that time, but just know, you have to do your best always to be a human being and to treat people right. And girls, you're going to be talking about how we treat animals. And by the way, some people say that you can tell a lot about an individual how well they treat animals. Right? There's some people who say you look at how, treat a cat, a dog, anything in terms of that'll show you compassion. And the rabbis talk about, is it because animals have feelings, or because, by the way, that it's just to teach us about being kinder? An interesting debate. How many of you think animals have feelings? Raise your hand if you think animals have feelings. All right, I think many people would. Right? Those of you who don't think they have such feelings, I won't force you to put up a hand. Like that could be, you could get in trouble here, maybe with somebody next to you. But the idea is, and they argued over whether these laws are about not hurting the feelings of animals, or in fact, just to help human beings to be more human and to apply those actions of compassion toward other humans as well. It's a beautiful, the Torah gives us such lessons. I'm going to call forward Lior and Leah. You're going to come up, and Ava and Ellie. You're all going to come up at this time. And you can leave your notebooks down there, girls. You won't need that now. And the parents are going to present, they're going to speak to their daughters and then present them each with a tallit.
Ava, you're first.
You see, this part was not rehearsed so well, just so you know. We're just working this out together at the same time. Go ahead.
Today, Ava, we celebrate because of you as a new bat mitzvah, taking an important step in your life's journey.
Just pull the microphone. You're a little bit closer. I want to make sure everybody can hear you. Get nice and close there.
You are now on a path of adulthood. While I may always have fond memories of you as a baby and as a young child, I look forward to the new memories we will have together as you grow and learn and enter adulthood.
When we think of you, the word that instantly comes to mind is sunshine. Since you were very little, you always smiled, and from then on, you are a little ball of sunshine. I'd wake up in the morning, and no matter how early it was, you'd open your eyes and smile at me. Always dancing, singing, and performing from the time you were a toddler, bringing a smile to everyone's face. This internal happiness is very rare. Stay this way.
Ava, you have worked so hard, and it shows, but that is nothing new to you. From a very young age, you have learned what it has always meant to work hard and persevere, and as a result, you have developed into and have a very strong work ethic. These lessons that you were forced to learn were challenging, though they will benefit you for your entire life.
Ava, my sunshine, I know when you are a grown-up, which according to Jewish law starts today, you are going to become what you already are, an incredible, kind, thoughtful human being who is going to keep up lighting everything around you with your presence.
When you think of being Jewish, think of three things: tradition, religion, and philosophy. Where one starts and another begins, it's often hard to tell. Hold your Jewish traditions close to your heart and make sure that you are making genuine connections with your family, friends, and your community.
As you enter into this new stage of life, we are learning to allow you to take the lead of your journey. But remember that we will be there to guide you if you hit some bumpy patches and get stuck.
Our promise to you is to always be open to communicating, to being good listeners. We'll try to hear what you're saying, both with your words and your actions, and to always have you be certain and unwavering how much we love you. Mom and I are very, 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 very proud of you.
All right, you're going to take that tallit. Go ahead, you can give them a hug. They deserve it. Go ahead.
Can I have a hug too?
Give your dad a hug. There you go. All right, now you're going to take that beautiful tallit. You're going to take hold of it and then recite the blessing. You can face everybody. Go ahead.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotah v'tzivanu lehitat tet v'tzitzit.
Amen. All right, Ava's going to step back. Ellie, you're going to step forward, please. And of course, let's fix that tallit in the hair. Here we go. Okay, step back.
Now it's always tough.
We are so happy to be with you all today. It's one of those moments where you pause and look around in awe at the beauty of life. We look around at our families, friends, and community and feel so much love and gratitude.
Ellie, your father and I want to start by telling you we love you, but not any more than we did yesterday. As we've told you your whole life, there's nothing you can ever do that would make us love you any more or any less. We have loved you fully and completely at the moment of your birth and even before that. I don't know why I'm getting emotional on this one, Ava. I love you just as much too. Today, though, we are especially proud of you.
Ellie, anyone who knows you understands that you are a person of deep emotions and passions. This is a good thing. You aren't like anyone else, nor do you need to be. You were created uniquely and for a specific purpose. Fuel your impulses and passions into something that can be used good for others.
Most people in this world take a while to find their voice, to figure out what they think and how they want to express it. But that has never been you. You've always been assertive, you've always had a voice, and a clear point of view. There's something very cool that you embody, which is a powerful femininity and a fierce strength, and we want to champion and support you in having both.
We want to offer you a few things. We want to offer you a few things to take with you as you go through this powerful life journey as a woman. One is community. To walk the world as a powerful woman, we need support. We need community. And I want you to look around. This is your support. This is your community, family, friends, and mentors. We will always be there standing near you and behind you.
The second thing we want to give you is actually something you've already claimed formally for yourself today. And that is your identity as a bat mitzvah, a woman with a Jewish heritage and a Jewish identity. This is something you've already stepped into with such grace, but I want you to know there's so much more for you here in this world of spirit and deep tradition. You have a whole spiritual journey ahead of you.
The third thing I want you to have in your life is compassion. Compassion for others as well as deep compassion for yourself. Everyone needs to be allowed to make mistakes because it's inherent in the permission to be truly human is compassion. Understanding that we're not perfect and that we deserve to be treated with kindness, tenderness, and care. In your journey of life, we will always be on your side, and we always will love you. We love you very much.
All right, give a hug. There you go. Okay, take that tallit. All right, you can just step back one. This way, you're right there. You're perfect. You're good, good. Turn towards the microphone, Ellie, please.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehitat b'tzitzit.
Amen. Put that on. Then, girls, you'll put your mask back on. You're going to head down. Gavin, you're coming up to help your parents with the blessing, including the. It's okay. Thank you. And we're going to call them up officially for this Aliyah. So, Leah, Lior, and Gavin.
יעמדו ליאור בן חיים ואסתר ולאה בת אסראל ורבקה גבריאל בן ליאור ולאה ראשון.
Baruchu et Adonai HaMvorach.
ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד.
Baruch Adonai HaMvorach
Le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol hamim ve'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. If you're following in the Torah text again, page 1112, beginning verse 10. Gavin, go ahead.
Amen. Ki tetzeh lemilchama al oyavecha untato Adonai Elohecha beyadecha v'shivta shivya v'ra'ita b'shivya eshet yafat toach וחשקת בה, ולקחת לך לאישה, והבאת אל תוך ביתך, וגילך את ראשה, ועשית את ציפורניה, והסירה את שמלת שביה מעליה, וישבה בביתך, וברכת את אביה ואת אמה, יארך ימים, ואחר כן תבוא אליך ובלת, והייתה לך לאישה, והיה אם לא הפצת בה, ושלחתן לנפשה, ומחור לא תמכרנה בכסף, לא תתעמר בה, תחת אשר עינתה.
Yasher koach. That was beautiful. All right, so right. They're going to concluding blessing.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu torat emet, v'hayei olam nata betochenu. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen. Yasher koach. You put your mask on. You may go down. We're going to call up Ava as our official bat mitzvah. We're not. I appreciate the clapping. We won't. Just in our hearts, we'll clap. You don't need your notebook, I don't think, for this one. All right, please, Chaz.
Abachura habat mitzvah tamod Chana bat lior v'le'asheni chizki
All right, so let's. I told you to look at him, otherwise he'll keep going. It was, but that was good, Ava. You will, before beginning with the Torah reading, Ava's going to share with us some of her thoughts on today's portion. Ava, remember, slowly and clearly, and make sure that microphone's right in front of you, too. Go ahead.
I cannot begin to thank everyone for being here today. I'm so grateful to share my big day with so many people. I've worked so hard this past year to prepare for my bat mitzvah. I wasn't actually sure what it would be like, but I have to say I'm pleasantly surprised. Becoming a bat mitzvah is a rite of passage, and it was important to me to do it in a meaningful way. Going through the bat mitzvah process has really made me think and focus about what it means to be Jewish, and the importance of keeping traditions that have been passed on from generation to generation. My Torah portion is the most mitzvah-packed portion in the entire Torah. There are two mitzvahs that caught my attention. The first is the mitzvah that discusses giving tzedakah. The Torah commands us to lend money for the sake of the mitzvah without our personal interests in mind. The second mitzvah, and the most important mitzvah that is referred in my Torah portion, is honor thy mother and father. Many people enjoy giving to others. It makes us feel good when we're able to help out someone in need. But the Torah warns us to be wary of a trap that's easy to fall into when lending a hand. Sometimes, as we give, we subconsciously calculate what we will receive in return. Obviously, that may lead us not to help someone who might not be able to repay. And that's not good. We can't always be thinking, what's in it for me? When we help someone, we should do it from pure love, not from personal benefits. There are many ways to help others. It doesn't always have to be by giving money. We can volunteer our time, donate gently used items, paying attention to people around us, and what we can do to make their lives easier. Honoring our parents is one of the greatest, in my opinion, most important mitzvah in the Torah. Our parents gave us the greatest gift, the gift of life. In my Torah portion, it talks about if you find a nest with a mother's birds and her chicks or her eggs, and you need to take a chick or egg for yourself, you need to make sure the bird flies away before taking her chicks or eggs. What is the message in this mitzvah? It has been said that the reason for this message is that the hardest thing for any parent to do is to force them to witness the kidnapping or death of their child. We should not impose cruelty even to a bird and have them see their babies getting taken away. If you're successful in making the bird fly away before you take its babies, you will not be causing pain to the mother. The promise or reward for doing this is a long life. The only other mitzvah that promises long life is honor thy mother and father. So I believe this is another mitzvah that honors mothers. And mother would do anything for the child. I know my mother would do absolutely anything for me. This has been a long and exciting journey, and I never could have done it alone. First, I want to thank Hazan Stein, Hazan Mibi, Rabbi Godkow, and Rabbi Vogel for all of your support and assistance through this bat mitzvah process. I would also like to thank my older brother, Gavin, and my twin sister, Ellie, for being my #1 cheerleaders and only wanting the best for me. Last but not least, I want to thank my mom and dad for helping me stay on track, reminding me to practice, and encouraging me every step of the way. I love you guys. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. All right, Ava, you're going to now to the blessing before the Torah reading. You can open it up and you can kiss the Torah where you're going to be starting. Go ahead. Right there on the bottom of the page. You see it? There you go. All right.
Baruch Hu Adonai Hamvorah.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorah Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bahar banu mikol ha'anim v'na'ata lanu et Torah tov. Baruch Atah Adonai notem ham Torah. Ki tiana la'ish shetei nashim ha'aha atahuva ve'ha'aha atanuha ve'yaludu la'ovani ha'ahuva ve'hasanua ve'chaya haben ha'behor la'saniya ve'chaya ve'yom hanhilo banav et asher yiyeh lo yucha levaker et ben ha'ahuva ha'peimin hasanua ha'behor ki et ha'behor lehasanua yaki la'aten lo pi shanayim behol asher yimasei lo Ki hu reishit anaho lo mishpat behora. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher nata lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nabatot b'tohinu. Baruch atah Adonai notem ham Torah.
Amen. You're going to put your mask on. You're going to come sit over here. And Ellie, here's your big call-up, my dear. Here we go. Chazan.
Abachura abat mitzvah tahamod tahamod Eliana bat lior v'leah shlishi chizki
Actually, I think Ellie would like that every time she went into a room to be introduced like that.
Actually, I
yeah,
love it.
you could get used to that. You can take off your mask. You're going to share some of your thoughts on the portion before beginning the blessings and Torah reading. Slowly and clearly as well.
I wrote that down. All right. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you, everyone, for coming to share my bat mitzvah with me today. I really appreciate all of those that went out of their way to travel here from out of state. It means so much to me. Preparing for my bat mitzvah has been a long but exciting journey. The Torah contains many meaningful and fascinating stories. My Torah portion is no exception. I will chant it to you in Hebrew, which may be difficult for some of you to understand, so let me tell you a little bit about what really caught my attention and what was relatable for me. My Torah portion contains the most commandments and mitzvahs of any of the other Torah portions. One of the laws that are mentioned that I not only find important but can also really connect to is mitzvah number 544, preventing the suffering of animals. As most people here know, I love animals. I have always cared for animals and had the desire to help them from the time I was a little girl. We must have consideration for animals. Kindness to animals was considered the ultimate test of a noble character. The Torah is not talking about cats and dogs. There aren't too many pets in the Bible. The animals they had were working for a living. There's a rule that Sabbath rest goes not just for humans, but also for your animals. As much as animals do for you, there had to be rules about how to treat animals, just like there were labor laws protecting conditions for human workers. Some of these rules mentioned in the Torah are, if an animal is struggling, go help it. You are even obligated to do this for your enemy's animal. Another law mentioned is, when you plow a field, don't do it with a strong ox and a weak donkey, because the donkey will suffer. The question of how we treat animals today is even more crucial. The Torah allows us to use animals for our own benefit, but draws a line for abuse. So where do we draw that line today? In our lives, at home, in the fields, and in science. This past year has been such a positive experience, learning and preparing for my bat mitzvah. To me, my bat mitzvah means growing up. I am passing my childhood and am now in my teens. It means more freedom in my choices, but I know with more freedom comes more responsibility. I worked extremely hard to prepare for this day, though I could not have gotten here without the help from Hazan Stein, Hazan Mimi, Rabbi Glockel, and Rabbi Vogel. I would also like to thank my older brother Gavin for always helping me on a prayer that I had a question about, and my sister Ava for practicing with me. Last but not least, I want to thank my mom and dad for always being there to love, support, and encourage me along the way. I love you guys.
All right, it's okay. You're going to be handed out some candy at this moment, right? Those are going to do it. And it's not for eating or snacking. And just to throw it gently and lovingly. Please do not throw it too hard. We do not want to injure either of these ladies before they go off to celebrate. So it's coming to you. Beginning with the blessing, go ahead, Ellie.
Baruch hu et Adonai hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai hamvarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai hamvorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natah lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Ki ish ben sorer umorei, einenu shomea bekol aviv uvkol imo, veiseru oto, velo yishma alehem, vetafesu vo aviv imo, vehotziu oto. El ziknei iro ve'al sha'ar mekomo ve'ameru el ziknei iro b'neinu sorer umorei einenu shomea bekolenu zolal v'sovei orgamu kol anshe iro va'anvanim va'meit Uvi artaharam mikir becha vecho Yisrael yishma'u ve'ira'u. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher nata lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata betochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Simen tov,
Mazel tov, mazel tov, Simen tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, Simen tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, Simen tov. Yehi lanu, Ulecha Yisrael. Yehi lanu, Ulecha Yisrael. David melech Yisrael, chai v'kayam. David melech Yisrael, chai v'kayam. Simen tov, mazel tov, mazel tov. Simen tov, mazel tov, mazel tov. Simen tov, mazel tov, mazel tov. Simen tov, yehi lanu. Yay, lay, 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 lay. Yay, lay, 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 lay. Yay, lay, 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 lay. Yay, lay, 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 lay. Lay, 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 lay. Yay, lay, 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 lay. Yay, lay, 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 lay. Lay, 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 lay. Sieben Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov. Sieben Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov. Sieben Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov. Sieben Tov, Yeh lanu, Yeh lanu.
Oh, girls. Good, good, good. All right. What do you need?
Do we need to get our bow?
You don't need anything right yet. You're okay. It's all right. This is the moment. Remember, I told you I was going to try and say something nice about you.
Try. Hope it was easy.
I've been thinking really hard. First of all, I love what you said about your portion, and each of you talking about kindness about animals and kindness about people. What's remarkable is, I'm always amazed when you can have twins who are just so different in personality, right? Ellie, here you were, sort of like just directing everything, right? Telling Ava exactly, move you here and go over here, and helping in terms of all of the orchestration. And I know that's something that you're very good at, is moving people around. Great sense of confidence that you have. That was evident in how you came up and the enjoyment that you have. And you embrace it. That's what I love about it. And Ava, you and your uniqueness, right? And the gentleness. And you were so nervous beforehand. I'll give away now who was the more nervous one. But you were fabulous. And to be able to overcome some of that nervousness is a gift in itself, right? Doesn't it feel good to be able to be successful and to know that you can do it? And so what I love most, I'm going to tell you, is that the two of you, how you complement each other, right? How you really help each other. And you're so encouraging of one another. I mean, that's really, I don't know if they're like this at home or not, but in all the experiences we've had, they're just very encouraging of one another, recognizing their gifts and what they have, and helping each other in moments that are not their strengths to help each other. And that's really beautiful. Gavin, you read Torah as well again in terms of Bar Mitzvah. It was great. And Leah and Laura, be able to stand here with your family and community in the midst of challenging times to be able to celebrate Jewish life. Jewish people throughout history have found those moments to celebrate. And girls, that's what you've helped us achieve today. So I want to give you a blessing that's been shared for many generations. It's been shared probably for about 3,000 years. It's a long time, isn't it? 3,000 years, and it goes like this. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, ya'er panave lecha v'chunecha. Yisanai panave lecha v'yasem lach shalom. May God bless you and keep you. May God's presence always be upon you. Ellie and Eva. May you always recognize the strengths of yourselves and of the other. May you always bring goodness not only to each other, to your family and community, but may you help bring peace to the world. And we all say, Amen.
Amen.
All right, we're going to call forward at this time to open up the ark. Let me just get the list here. That's going to be Guy and Orly Tzour and Jennifer Walleness and Scott Manatlik. If you will join us on the bima, you can walk on up. You're going to open the ark. And we're going to rise together, everybody. We're back in the prayer book, that smaller red book, page 222. Page 222.
Eitz Chaim hi lamachazikim ba b'tomcheha me'ushar deracheha darchei noam v'chol netivoteha shalom שובה, חדש ימינו כקדם.
You may be seated momentarily. Page 222. You may be seated. Page 222, Hatzi Kaddish.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, ועמד יברח חירותי, וימליך מלכותי, וחייכון ובימיכון וחיי לכל בית ישראל, בגלה ובזמן קריב, ויאמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך, לעולם ולעולמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירן בעלמה ויאמרו אמן.
We rise together, please, for the Amidah, page 223, and Ava and Ellie will lead us in this prayer. If you know it, please, you'll join along with us.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avoteinu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzhak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Chanora El Elyon Gomel Hasaidim Tovim Vezoner Hakol Vezoher Hastei Adot Umi Vigonel Ifnei V'neihem Leman Shemo V'chava Mele Ozer Ufaked Ufashia Umagen Baruch atah Adonai Magen Abraham Ufoked Sarah Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai Mechaye Meitim Atah Rav Lehoshia Morid Hatal Mechakel Chaim Behesed Mechaye Meitim V'Rachamin Rabim Somech Noflim V'Hofech Cholim Umatir Asurim Umechaye Emunato Lishenei Afar Mihamocha Ba'agivurot Umidom Elah Melech Meimit Umechaye Umatzmiya Yeshua V'ne'emanato Lechayot Meitim Baruch atah Adonai Mechaye HaMeitim
נקדש שמך בעולם כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום ככתוב היד נביאך וקרא זה אל זה ואמר
Kadosh, 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 Adonai Tzvahot, Melech Haaretz Kevodo.
קדוש 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 אדוני צבאות מלך הארץ כבודו ליומתם ברוך יאמרו
Baruch Kavod Adonai Mimkomo.
ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו ובדברי קודשך כתוב לאמור
Yimloch Adonai Olam, Elohai Sion, Ledor Vador, Hallelujah.
ימלוך אדוני לעולם אלוהיך ציון לדור ודור הללויה לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש, ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד, כי המלך גדול וקדוש אתה, ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
The Amidah continues silently in the following pages, 226 and onward. You can either read Hebrew or English or prefer the private prayers and meditations of your heart.
say shalom bimrama. Yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
You may be seated. Page 230, Kaddish Shalem.
יתגלל ויגרע שמי רבה, ועמד יברכילותי וימליך מלכותי, וחייכון ומכון וחיי לכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב ויאמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך, לעלם לעלמי עלמיה יתברך. יתברך וישתבח ויתברך ונאמר ונעשה ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה ברכו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה ותשבחתה ונחמתה דמירן בעלמה ויאמרו אמן. תתקבל צלותו נבואתו לכל בית ישראל קודם ובשמיה ויאמרו אמן. יהי שלום רבה מן שמיו וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ויאמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרמיו הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ויאמרו amen.
We rise again, please, for Aleinu, page 231, and Ellie and Ava will lead us. Page 231.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon halko, l'teitz gedula le'oseh breshit, shelo asanu ki goyei haratzot, velo samanu kemishpechot ha'adama, shelo sam halkeinu kahem, v'gor aleinu כחכמונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. שכונות השמיים ויוסר הארץ, ומשה יקרו בשמיים עמאה, ושכינתו זו, וכהן מרומי, אלוהינו אינו, אמת מלכנו את זולתו, וכך כתוב בתורתו, ויראת היום וחשב אותה אל לבבך. כי אדוני האלוהים בשמיים בארץ מתחת עינו. כתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר בחיי אדוני, בפמלא על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא, יהיה אדוני אחד, ובשמו
You may be seated.
We did so good.
You may be seated. All right, ladies, you can put your masks on and go back to your family, please. The final prayer of almost every service that we have in the Jewish tradition is the mourner's Kaddish. We recite it in memory of those who are not with us and who we acknowledge on the yortzites, the anniversaries of their passing, or during a period of mourning. So if there's anybody here who's reciting the mourner's Kaddish, you're invited to rise on page 232. Or at home, if you're reciting Kaddish as well and you'd like to have the opportunity to perform this Mitzvah on page 232, we're glad to be able to help provide minyan for you, a sacred community. Those reciting the mourner's Kaddish join together. Yit Gadal ve'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah. Amen. Be'alma divrach yerutei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael v'agala v'zman kariv v'meru. Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam umei umaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yipa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei d'kudesha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata da'miran b'alma v'meru. Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'meru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'meru. Amen. May God establish His peace in the heavens, grant peace and harmony for us, for all of Israel, all of humanity. We say, Amen. Ava and Ellie, you may be seated, by the way. Ava and Ellie, I hope you felt it and how exciting, and for the whole family. It felt like it was a long time getting here. And remember, we talked about how part of you is just like, okay, let's just get it over with already. Like we're done. It's been a long time. But you look like you felt it, and it meant something, and that's what this is all about, to feel the sanctity of the moment. Remember your bat mitzvah, connection of your heritage, the importance of the values that you bring into the world. So Leah, Lior, Gavin, Ellie, and Ava, you're going to join us on the bima. And I know there's a lot of other family here, so tell you what, if you're a grandparent, would you just stand up where you are as well? No, you're coming up. Come on up. Or do we have grandparents here standing? Anybody? Yeah, we have grandparents. Stand up. Yeah, just stand up where you are. Any of the grandparents? Not lamod vakasha. Okay, if you are an aunt or an uncle, would you stand up? If you're an aunt or an uncle, would you stand up? There you go. If you're a cousin, would you stand up? All right. If you're related in any way to this family, would you stand up? All right, tell you what. Let's have everybody stand up anyway, and we're going to join together in the blessing of Shechianu. You can take off your mask up here if you want for one last time. Go ahead.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kiman v'higianu lazman hazeh Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kiman v'higianu lazman hazeh One more time, amen. Here we go.
Mazal Tov!
Simen Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Simen Tov, Simen Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Simen Tov, Simen Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Simen Tov, Yehelanu, 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 Ulecha Yisrael, Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Ulecha Yisrael, David Melech Yisrael, Chai v'kayam. David Melech Yisrael, Chai v'kayam. One more time. Simen Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov. Simen Tov, Simen Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov. Simen Tov, Simen Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov. Simen Tov, Yehelanu.
Concludes our service. Mazal Tov to Ava and Ellie.
Mazel Tov. So great. What great.